Hey everyone, welcome to Rhythm and Roads podcast. My name is Joshua Jacob. I'll be your host. We have a special guest. We have Jen Gruger of Tularosa, New Mexico. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you. Hi, glad to be here.
I did want to share why we're doing this episode is I've always been interested in knowing the history of Tularosa during the holidays of why they do what they do with the Luminarios. And I was told that they put over 1,000, and that's really awesome. And they've been doing this for over 50 years. So here's the story behind that. So go ahead, Jen.
Sure, thanks. So actually, there are almost 8,000
Oh,
when it's
8,000. Oh my
done.
God.
Yeah.
Dang.
It's amazing. So this is uh, really we think of it as a revered event for Tularosa.
Okay.
It's been a part of the Tularosa and New Mexico history, like there are luminarias throughout the state,
Hmm.
but for generations. No one's really sure when the tradition began in Tularosa. We have tried to pin it down, but
Okay.
as one community elder stated when we asked, "¿Quién sabe siempre está?" You know, who knows? It's always been.
Yeah.
The Luminaria display has been managed by several groups over its history here.
Okay.
But currently, the Tularosa Arts and History Council, which is a group that I co-founded with some other people in the community in 2016,
Okay.
we've had the honor and the responsibility of coordinating the event. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah, yeah, it's been several years, and we're proud to do it, but it's a lot of work,
Oh,
and it
I
takes a
bet.
lot of volunteers.
Especially 8,000 Luminarios. That's a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Um, so yeah, the display runs from the south end of the village of Tularosa on Highway 5470,
Okay.
continues on the east side of the village on the Highway 70, like toward Ruidoso.
Redoso. Okay.
Um, the setup and the lighting of the display was really an incredible example of the community working together.
That's nice.
Volunteers include the Tularosa Fire Department, the police department,
Wow.
other local fire departments. And what happens is they kind of gather around and slow the traffic so that the
Okay.
volunteers who are actually setting up the luminarias on the highway are kept safe.
Oh, okay.
And then all different kinds of like 4-H groups and FFA, the
Oh, nice.
Rotary of Tularosa, they all take different sections of the highway.
Okay.
And they kind of, say this is going to be our section. We're going to fill the sacks and assemble the luminarias, um, and light them as well. So that's kind of a process. I can explain that more.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Um, so the luminarias, and a lot of people know this, but basically it's a paper sack, like a
Hmm.
lunch bag,
Hmm.
and it has about, I don't know, whatever that is, 3 or 4 inches of sand in the bottom.
Okay.
And then you set a candle, like a votive candle. But we do put a bit of effort into researching long burning candles because they're
Okay.
lit before dark and we want them to stay lit as long as possible.
Right. Right.
So my husband Michael, who's really the event coordinator, has found a source in Texas that supplies these candles and they ship them to us early in
Really?
the
Okay.
fall.
Oh,
Yep.
wow. Nice.
So the process is it's kind of a lot of work. We pile up, the village provides piles of dirt. Community members gather around. They one by one fill those
Oh, the
sacks with
dirt.
sand,
Wow.
load them up on a trailer, and then as they set them out along the highway, they insert a candle, stand up the wick, and then later, either that crew or another set of volunteers comes back with like a long-handled lighter,
Hmm.
and lights each individual sack. Yeah, it's amazing. And
Oh,
like
my
I said,
God.
there's altogether about 8,000 throughout the village. That includes ones that, like, for example, the St. Francis de Paula Church, which is a
Oh,
very prominent church here in Tularosa.
hmm.
They buy however many, 500 or however many they feel like they need. So
Wow.
that number 8,000 includes those. But um,
That's,
when you come through to see the display, that's about
yeah.
how many you're seeing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so if there's so many 8,000 Luminarios out there, how many people you have going around lighting them up? I mean, that's a lot of bags to light
It
up.
is a lot of bags.
So, and then you start at what time to make sure they're all like lit?
Well, so we start filling them at about 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, okay.
So throughout the day, that there's just, like a rotation of filling and then setting out and filling and setting out. And then the lighting, we start at about 3 and it's done by 4:30.
Okay.
And I would say altogether, if you include, like, let's say the 4-H probably has 20 people, right? It's going
Okay.
to be the 4-H students plus their
Okay.
families. And then FFA will have another 20 people. Plus,
Okay. So it's quite a bit of you guys out there doing it.
yeah, no, it
Awesome.
takes a lot. It takes a village, as they
It
say.
does. It does. Do you have
Yeah.
any information? Well, thank you again for sharing all that, and that was really
Yeah.
insightful. Do you have any information on just the town itself of like going back of just the history of the
I
Tularosa? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things that is important about the village of Tularosa is that it was founded in the 1880s.
Wow.
And in fact, established before New Mexico achieved its statehood.
Oh, okay.
If I were a really good social studies student, I could tell you what year that was, but I can't.
It's all
But I
right.
do know that Tularosa was founded in the 1880s,
Wow.
and it was a group of settlers who kind of identified that this area was positioned well and safe at the time from kind of some of the battles that were going on between the Native Americans from Mescalero, the
Oh, okay.
Apache tribe there, and the folks that were trying to settle the area in other areas.
Hmm.
But one of the important things about Tularosa's history is that there was a prominent battle at what they call it the Battle of Round Mountain, where a small cavalry of the U.S. cavalry
Hmm.
came to help the settlers in Tularosa fend off a group of Apache who were trying
Wow.
to say we don't want you here.
Right.
That was a significant battle. You can research the Battle of Round Mountain.
Hmm.
But the settlers that were at the time working on building a mission here, a church with a school and the whole 9 yards,
Hmm.
got together and prayed, and they call it La Promesa today. And that prayer was about, just saying to God, if you will protect our both the cavalry that's helping us and the 11 men from
Hmm.
Tularosa that we're going to go have this battle, we promise we will finish this church and celebrate that win every year from now on forever.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and
Okay.
so that tradition still, they did
Wow.
have the battle. There was one small injury
Mhm.
reportedly, but those 11 men's name are now on the front of the church. And indeed,
Really?
every year since then, Tularosa has had the St. Francis de Paula fiesta. And that usually happens in the spring,
Oh,
um,
okay.
traditionally on Mother's Day.
Oh, all right.
That is another event that's totally worth coming to Tularosa for.
Oh, nice.
Um, so that's one kind of claim to fame. And the other one, which is, I mean, it's a whole other story, really.
Yeah.
Um, Tularosa is the location of one of the longest running acequia systems. And an acequia is an open ditch irrigation system.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
So there are really altogether hundreds of miles of um, watering irrigation ditches that serve what we call the 49 blocks. The
Oh,
Central Historic
interesting.
District, which is registered in the National Historic Registry of 49 square blocks in Tularosa,
Okay.
um, are fed off of the Rio Tularosa, which comes down from I get my directions east. And they designed this ditch system to first serve the settlers so they could have gardens and small crops.
Oh, wow.
And then it goes farther west of town where farmers had cattle and larger crops. And
Okay.
it's I mean, this is the early 1800s that this
Yeah.
water system, the same ditch system has been running every day. And you pay your shareholder dues and you get access to that money. So like our home is within that 49 blocks.
That's
So every other
interesting.
week we open a gate and that's how we get our yards and gardens irrigated.
Wow. And that's how
Yeah.
you get, and you, so this is still going on even since the 1800s, like you said.
Still today. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Thank you for sharing that history on that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And that's even just that ditch system is kind of cool. Like if you
That
were to
is,
look at Tularosa from the air, it looks like we call it an oasis in the desert because that water, we have cottonwoods that are hundreds of years old.
Cottonwoods? Wow.
Right? Yeah, and it's crazy in this here in the in the desert in the Tularosa Basin is
Yeah.
pretty lots of xeriscaping and stuff, but Tularosa, because of that ditch system, is just like this big green oasis in the middle of it. So it's pretty
Wow.
cool. Yeah.
And do you guys have a winery there as well?
Several. Yeah, it's a
In
great question.
Tularosa? Really?
Yes,
Oh,
there are actually four wineries that are technically like they're like the Tularosa vineyards. There's, several of them in this area. Um,
okay.
Eagle Ranch pistachio is a pistachio farm and winery. Um,
Okay.
there's McGinn's pistachio farm and Arena Blanca, I think is what that winery is.
Wow.
And we also have, believe it or not, a distillery that has just
What?
opened.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And they are
Nice.
distilling what's called Soltol, Soltol.
Total. Okay.
You can think of it like it's almost like a tequila made out of agave,
Okay.
but it's called Soltol. The drink is called Soltol and it's made out of Soltol, which is almost like a yucca. I mean, if you're,
Okay.
it's just a cactus looking kind of
Yeah.
guy.
Interesting.
That's called Tularosa Distillery. And
Okay.
we have a lounge and then there's a gift shop kind of associated with it. We've got a
Wow.
lovely little main street called Granado Street that has some really great shops and antique shops and um, like uh, kind of repurposed found materials.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's actually kind of a lot in this little village that people don't realize. Often people,
Yeah. I
I mean,
never realized all that.
I'm not calling out anybody, but I know you're in El Paso, and I know lots of your residents will go right through here onto Ruidoso for your
Yeah,
little
I'm part
holiday
of that
weekend.
too.
I know, it's
But
okay.
man, hearing all that, I'm like, wait, there's all that there? I should
Yeah,
stop.
stop and check it out. We even have restaurants. I know it's there's places to eat here.
Oh, nice.
We've
Okay.
got Casa de Sueños and Laredos, Yum Yums. Not even gonna say them all. Like
There's just quite a few. Yeah.
there's plenty, and it's it's
Wow.
just add a little bit of extra time and on your way through and check out Granado Street and a couple of those restaurants. It's
All right.
yeah, super
And
fun.
tomorrow, is there any restaurants open or anything for during the evening?
They are. I kind of checked around to make sure. So, Casa de Sueños will be open. Laredo's is only they make the best tamales. So they're doing
Hmm.
tamales today and people can pick them up tomorrow. So no full menu there.
Okay.
Um, and I think a couple of the other ones are. And then all of the shops on Granado Street will be open.
Okay.
Some of them will be open later into the evening because they know people are coming through to see the Luminarias.
Right. Right.
But they're, come do a little last minute Christmas shopping or, just check it out for the
To have a
future.
drink. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's nice. And then Jen, what is it that you do there in Tularosa? Like, what's your background?
Well, I actually work for the hospital system nearby here in
Okay.
Alamogordo, Christus, Southern New Mexico. I was previously Gerald Champion Regional Medical Center. People might know it better by that.
Okay.
Um, but I have lived in Tularosa since 2014.
Oh, wow.
My husband is from Tularosa. We met in Albuquerque,
Oh,
but
nice.
moved down here. Both of our parents are all living here, as it turns out. So that worked out great. We just came down to kind of take care of them.
Hmm.
Um, I have worked in Tularosa when I first came down. I was working remotely in basically healthcare IT stuff,
Okay.
but took a job at the senior center here, and it was just such rewarding work and got helped me to get to know the village better.
That's good.
Um, and so it was kind of early on. And I don't know if they have this where you are, but they have what they call Main Street funding. So the state wants um, municipalities, whether they're cities or villages or whatever,
Okay.
to put tourism effort into bringing people to historical places. And
Mhm.
that work was just starting when we moved here, and we kind of just got involved in it right away. And one of the first things that was recommended by the state was to form a nonprofit that would focus on the art and the history and the culture of the area to try to draw people. And that was the formation of the Tularosa
Wow.
Arts and History Council. So both my husband and I were founding members along with 4 or 5 other people,
Okay.
most
Nice.
of whom are still active board members.
Hmm.
Um, and we do 3 major events throughout the year, and they're all worth coming for.
Hmm.
So the Luminarias is one.
Hmm.
And then we do a free Halloween. It's called Halloween on Granado Street.
Oh, okay.
We shut down the whole street and just fill it with vendors, and we have pet and people costume contests, a full
Oh,
haunted
wow.
house, food trucks, live music. That event historically has had probably about 1,000 people attend.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Awesome.
amazing. Totally free for the, kids, or a trunk or treat. I don't know if you know what
Yeah,
that is.
trick or treats. Yeah.
Calls, cars get all decorated, and
Mhm.
that's all open to the public. And that's usually the Saturday, whatever the calendar date is, but it's the Saturday before Halloween.
Halloween. Okay. Saturday before Halloween.
Yep. And
Okay.
then um it's a kind of a new event that has just been a hit. We do the Tularosa Duck Race.
Duck race.
A
Wow.
duck race.
Okay.
So they're rubber ducks. They're not real ducks.
Oh, okay.
They're little rubber, just like a classic yellow rubber duck.
Yeah, yeah.
And we race those. You buy a duck, or
Uh-huh.
adopt a duck, I should say. And they're all numbered, and you can adopt several. Usually people get a six quack.
Okay.
And they are actually racing down that acequia system that I mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah, like you mentioned. Okay.
Yep. So we block off a
Oh.
certain section of it, and then we have heats throughout the day, and then like a big race at the end. The first year we did 400 ducks. Then last year we
Wow.
did, or this year, 2024, we did 500 ducks. And
Wow.
they sold out so fast.
That's so
It's
cool.
so fun. Yeah. I should mention our website because all of these events are described there,
Oh,
and
yeah, feel free.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really easy. It's trytularosa.org.
Okay.
Um,
It's tribe, you said, right? Tribe?
try, like TRY,
Oh,
like,
try. Oh, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
try
Try. Okay.
TRY Tularosa. So
Mhm.
TRYTULAROSA.org. And yeah, try
That's
us.
awesome. Man, I'm now it's like because I'm going tomorrow. So guys, I
Yes.
didn't share this, but I am going tomorrow with a lot of my family. So we're renting a vehicle and we're going up there. But now I'm like really excited to see everything that you mentioned, just restaurants, the tourist area, just all that, especially the Luminarios as well. So I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to tomorrow. But
Yep.
man, now yeah, now that every time I do go next year to Rio Doso, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna just yeah, I'm
Please
stopping in
do.
Tularosa.
Yeah, please do. We had one space. There's actually the other thing to maybe let people know is we also have space for lease. This is
Oh,
a
okay.
really just that traffic, the volume of people that come through
Mhm.
either from Ruidoso to El Paso or from El Paso to Ruidoso. The opportunity is tremendous.
Wow.
You just have to be willing to like invest to, get it started. But
Mhm.
there is, in fact, there's a huge, beautiful building that's perfect for a restaurant. It has been a restaurant for many years,
Okay.
and we would love for that to open back up again. In case any
Okay.
of your listeners are entrepreneurs in that area. But
All right.
it's really a precious stop. It's absolutely worth checking out. And it's beautiful year round. Like the
Hmm.
spring is beautiful here. We're famous for our roses.
Oh, is that right?
A lot
Okay.
of times people think that Tularosa is somehow named after roses because and the village it's called the City of Roses.
Okay.
Uh, Tularosa is actually a Spanish word that refers to the reddish pink reeds that
Mhm.
were initially along the Rio Tularosa.
Okay.
Um, and that's really what it's named after.
Oh, interesting. I didn't
Um,
know that.
but it's called the City of Roses because almost every resident here is, I don't know, I'm not sure the history of the roses so much, but There are rose bushes everywhere. So it's just
Hmm.
gorgeous. In the
Wow.
spring, in the summer, in the fall is beautiful when the cottonwoods are changing. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's cool.
That is cool. And there's actually a little market almost heading out of the town. It's on the right side. And I, when as a kid, I would go to Roswell to visit family from El
Yep,
Paso. So my family and I would stop there at that grocery store that's almost out of town. It's on the right
yep,
side. Yeah, it's
yep,
still there. And I'm all like, every
yep,
time I pass by, I look, I'm like, man, memories since in the early 90s or mid 90s
yep,
shopping there.
yep, yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's our only one.
Oh, is it really the only one?
The only grocery store, and then we have like one Subway. That's very exciting.
Oh,
But it's really
okay.
more kind of local stuff that
Yeah.
we like to have. So
All right. And what's the most, I guess, for tourists, what's the most popular restaurant or one that you recommend that it's the one that draws people?
it's probably Casa de Sueños. So that's the
Okay.
one that you're gonna see if you're coming from El Paso. It's the first one right before Tularosa on the left-hand side on 54.
Okay.
And then I guess it depends, kind of if breakfast,
Mhm.
Laredo's is the next, and that's excellent. Both of them excellent, excellent New Mexican food.
Wow.
Laredo's has a little bit more of that traditional Mexican style,
Mm.
like rices, and they have an excellent tampiqueña, little thin steak. It's just amazing.
That is
And
amazing.
that's also on the left side, just a few blocks, like one block in. We only have one light.
Oh, is that
So
right?
one light in our little town, it's not even that old. I think that light is like 4 or 5 years old.
Wait, is
Uh,
that the one that's like near the fire department kind of
yes, yeah, a
station?
little bit
Okay.
before that, yeah. So there's
Oh,
the light and then there's Laredo's. So
yeah,
and
I've
then
stopped
that's
at.
actually Granado Street where all those shops are is just one street past or
Okay.
one street north of that light.
Hmm,
So
interesting.
everything's really easy to find if you,
Very easy.
yeah. And then
Oh,
also, just one
but
last thing, when you're driving through Tularosa to see the Luminarias
yeah.
tomorrow, anytime after dusk, like we light them, we try to get them all lit before the sun comes down, and they stay
Okay.
lit usually through to midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
So
wow.
no
Okay.
rush, just come whenever.
Yeah.
But also drive the side streets because families will do their own luminarias, but they also just go all out for Christmas, lights and blow ups, and there's
Oh,
so
okay.
just drive up and down. It's really hard to get lost. Like
Like
it's
go through the neighborhoods and just see other
go
elements.
through the neighborhoods
Okay.
totally,
Yeah.
yeah. We do ask that you slow down when you're coming through, and when you're on the highway, dim your lights because you can see the luminarias better.
Oh,
And
okay.
there's generally enough light just from them. It's not, if you're driving slow and careful and you dim your lights, you won't, nothing bad will happen. Just
Okay.
be careful.
That's good. And we're able to also park somewhere to get off and walk through the street and all that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
There's a good sized parking lot. Just if you drive around, you'll see them, but it's at 3rd Street and Fresno. So if you
Okay.
put that in your phone, it's
Third
just
Street in around Fresno.
to the church, which is prominent, very easy to see. That's kind of where you might want to get down and take pictures. Is right on the highway, but it's in between Encino and Fresno. So if you turn either just before the church or just after and go behind it, you'll find there's places to park back there.
Awesome. And will you
Yeah.
be there tomorrow, Jen? You and your husband?
We will. So we work throughout the day and sort of coordinate the volunteers, and then actually our family tradition is to do our stuff on Christmas Eve. We have our meal and our presents and stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
after everything is all done, we, kind of disappear into our families, just to be with our family.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll be out there during the day getting ready, and eventually, once we get dinner down and everybody's settled in, we take a nice quiet drive afterwards to see the fruits of our labor.
Make sure everything's going well. Yeah.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right.
Well, oh my God. So thank you so much, Jen. This was an
You're
incredible
welcome.
just
You're
get the
welcome.
history of Tularosa and your time of just sharing all that.
Yeah.
I'm really shocked because I had no clue all these years of what
Yeah.
Tularosa really does have and the beauty of it, of the history of it. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's really
Well,
awesome.
let's connect again in the spring and we'll talk about the duck race when it gets time
Oh,
for that.
yeah, I would love that. I would love to. I would even love to go over there and experience that. That'd be so much
Yep.
fun.
You should for sure.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching on this episode with Jen Gruger from Tularosa, New Mexico, sharing about the Luminarios on Christmas Eve tomorrow night. So you have a great Merry Christmas, guys. Okay. Thank you, Jen, again for coming
You're
on.
welcome.